Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor live edition. This is post-game for round 2, game 2, Sharks versus Colorado Avalanche. Unfortunately, the Sharks do fall 4-3, but one of those was an empty netter, so really could have been 3-3 had we done it in a different order, perhaps.
You
But
can't really look at it that way,
nah,
though.
not really. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way. I mean, it was 3-2. They potted an empty net goal to make it 4-2, and then the Sharks came back and scored on a kind of not controversial, but a why even bother penalty at the end there.
If you think about it this way, the Avs scored 3 on Jones, and we scored 3 on Grubauer.
Yeah,
Right?
good.
Yeah, I stuttered there for a second.
It's a Grubauer.
Grubauer.
Oh,
So each goalie led in the same amount of goals.
Yeah.
Because one was an empty netter. So,
There you go.
yep, closer than it looked.
How many goals did Bobrovsky let in recently?
8.
Don't care, just kidding. Yeah, so we are here. We are ready to take all your comments and your questions. I am pretty sure Zach is going to be in here pretty soon.
Stay out of the box.
Exactly, right? So, no, I saw Zach's tweet today, and I told him, yeah, we'll be right here ready for you, bud. So, Zach, whenever you show up, we're ready for your comments and questions, too. So, everybody else, feel free to jump on in. Why don't we talk a little bit about some of the stuff before we get into the game so that we can get people a chance to come in a little bit more?
Sure. We got 34 right now.
EASHL, the Fin Factor EASHL team, it's actually not doing too bad. We started off like, what was it, like 3-8-1 or something like that. We're now
Last
like
night?
12-12.
Yeah, it's close.
And whatever. Yeah. So it's actually not doing too bad. I thought we were gonna be much worse, but sweet. Thanks for joining and
Aaron has
helping
a
us
record 12 tripping
I
penalties.
think more than 12. I think I'm at 15 now.
out. I that's it.
I
15?
think 15 penalties.
Okay, yeah.
15 tripping penalties.
Aaron doesn't know to not throw the poke check when you're behind a player.
I'm used to last year's game where you can poke check 2 or 3 times before like a trip would happen. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that sensitive. This
Yeah,
year it's ridiculous.
not so much. So.
Zach is chiming in. He is here, and yes, he does say stay out of the penalty box.
There you go.
So,
So yeah, no, that's actually it's a lot of fun. It's doing well. There's Patrick Cabral is starting the Xbox version, right? So if you're on Xbox, search the Fin Factor or TFF is the abbreviation, and there's one of our viewers, Patrick Cabral, who is starting one on Xbox for us because we don't have Xbox. So if you want to play in our name, feel free to do so, and then just
And
have a
we'll
good time.
compare. We'll maybe take some screenshots of both and kind of compare the two
That would be fun.
different platforms
Yeah.
on the game.
That'd be good.
What was I gonna say?
I don't
Shoot.
know. I'm not in your
Oh,
head.
I have we have 2 keys, one for Xbox and one for PlayStation, and we're gonna do some sort of giveaway for those teams. Hey.
We are kind of back, maybe. I'm not sure. I think we are. Every once in a while, I guess we just have a little problem. I don't know what the deal is, but
Comcast is just not our friend. How about that?
this time around.
I was going to say, did we just drop it again?
No, it seems like this time around it might have been a Comcast issue. Before we've had some other little gremlins, but we are back. Thank you for staying with us and around. So, again, we are taking all your comments and questions. So if you have anything, go ahead and throw those into the chat right about now. And there was something you wanted to chat about while we were at the break there.
We have 2 keys, one for Xbox and one for PlayStation for NHL 19. So if you do not have the game and you're interested in playing, we'll figure out some sort of giveaway to do. But let us know. Let's see how much interest there is, how many people don't have the game that would be interested. And hopefully we can work that angle and we can get some copies of NHL 20 for next.
Great. And also, like we were talking about, other things that we were planning on doing giveaways for. Holes on the set, the pucks that are here. Just lots of random stuff that maybe you've already seen, or just cool stuff that we have. Yep. We wouldn't mind doing giveaways for you guys, but it's just a matter of us figuring out how we're going to do the giveaway.
Maybe even these shirts, because they're pretty popular.
The shirts were actually ridiculously popular. I know a lot of you guys were talking about liking the shirts, and somebody even drove a few hours to go to the Shark Tank, right?
Our audio's cutting out. I don't know if you've seen that. And we're freezing up. I need a PS4. Sorry, we're not giving away any PS4s, Zach. We're just the game.
Now, don't be greedy. Jeez, guys.
It's basically, you can see it skipping every once.
Are we skipping around?
No, you're fine.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and start taking some comments then.
Let's go to the game. Let's see what you saw. How about that? We'll start there.
So I mean, let's start off in the first period here, right? In the first period, what we saw was a Sharks team that was clogging up the neutral zone. It was something that you had said in the previous show was, as long as they clog up that neutral zone and take away their speed, their ability to move quickly, I think we'll do a pretty good job. My whole idea was, again, surrounding Martin Jones and keeping the play at the outside. But I like if they're not even able to get in the zone in the first place, that's even a better game plan. So I like that too. And that's what we saw, I think, in the first period was the Sharks doing a really good job of clogging up the neutral zone, not allowing them really to get across the blue line easily, right? And like we had talked about during the break there, it kind of fell apart because you could tell that it was like a fatigue thing for the Sharks. After that first period, they just looked tired. They looked like they just didn't have the legs anymore, and they were giving lots of. There were a lot of giveaways, I think, is what one of the stats was. And the guys on the radio were even saying, this is all fatigue right now. You could just see it. So it's almost comforting to lose it in a way where, it's because your team is doing something wrong or is doing. They're tired. Once they get their legs back or they clear something up, they're in better shape. It's not that you're just getting outplayed by a better opponent. It's that if you were playing your game to the best of your ability, the scales might be tipped differently. So I think there's some upside to take in this loss as well. And basically, second and third period, it was just the Sharks not having the legs, just looking tired, playing as hard as they could. They battled back. Again, they were down by a goal, then down by 2 goals, and then they battled back with 17 seconds left instead of just saying, the game's over anyway. They went out and they got another goal. So, I mean, for me, I'm proud of the way that they battled back. It's one of those things that they could have rolled over and they didn't.
Right. I think they dominated that first period, and I think I tweeted it out earlier saying that, wow, this looks like a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. The Avs really didn't look like they belonged. And not to say that the Sharks are obviously going to dominate the whole series, because they're not, and they lost game 2. So I just, at that point, I was like, wow, maybe this is going to be a shorter series than I thought. Unfortunately, I feel like the Sharks maybe felt the same way, and when they came out to the second, third period, their legs were a little tired, but they expected to dominate like they did without putting in the hard work, and that came back to bite them. So the Avs got a goal, they went up 2-1, and then they were up 3-1, and then you're like, okay, here we go again. The Sharks are going to try and claw back, which they kind of did, but just too little, too late. So unfortunately, that long series with Vegas is kind of creeping up on them now. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're now going into Colorado in the high altitude, fatigued. However, I think Erik Karlsson looked fantastic today.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he looked maybe not still 100%, but pretty darn close. He looked better than he did in the Vegas series.
Absolutely.
So like I said at the last show, I think that's going to be a thing to look out for the Sharks is Erik Karlsson is healing and getting better. So he's going to be a better defenseman.
Better version of himself.
Exactly.
Right? So, and again, what we've seen in the Vegas series was a guy who very clearly couldn't skate at 100%, couldn't maneuver at 100%. I still don't think he is 100% now, but he does look a whole heck of a lot better. He was making little moves, nice confident moves, very calm and collected. That's the thing about Erik Karlsson that I love so much, is not just his stick handling ability, but his ability to do that under pressure without freaking out in the process of it. He just looks so calm while he does it. It's just silky smooth. So, I think we're going to see a better version of Erik Karlsson this series than we did in the last one, and that can only bode well. It's just a matter of, will the Sharks be able to kind of regain their legs, right, over the course of this series, or is it just going to be constantly a point that kind of hammers away at them as the series drags on?
Yeah, and people are asking, do you really think they look gassed? I think they did, because in the first period they looked great, they looked fine, and they did not look like that at all in the second and third. They looked a little bit sluggish and slow, almost like they had concrete in their skates in a way.
Super Cute Grip Joe, did I not mention that the last time around, by the way? Like, don't be surprised if we lose game 2.
Yeah.
Because they come off this super emotional game 7, this grueling series against Vegas, and to me, I'm going, okay, game 1, I would love to grab game 1, but these guys are just beat. They're tired. The way that you're going to lose this series isn't necessarily getting beat by Colorado. It's going to be having to face yourself, right? That's what you have to worry about more than anything else. In fact, I think our old notes are still up here.
Themselves, right?
Yeah, where does it say that the biggest hurdle is themselves? It says it right there on the board down here. And that was my point, was they got to get over themselves, and that's maybe you can, maybe you can't. When the fatigue is a factor and your legs are gone, it's not like it's them kind of saying, okay, well, we'll be fine, we'll just keep rolling, and then they just kind of give up on it. It's just their legs won't allow them to. So I think that's the biggest thing in this series, is that ability to push and get your legs back, get yourself healthy in terms of just the fatigue. Not even like, oh, I had a broken shoulder or anything like that. Just the fatigue, right? Getting over that. And if you can do that, I think you stand a much better chance. It looks like Erik Karlsson's on his way back. I like to see the rest of the guys step up. Not really step up, because they are, but they're just tired.
Yeah. Matt Nieto scored.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Hey, wait, isn't that Riverside native or something like that?
No, it's Long Beach
native. Matt Nieto scored. He did, but that was more of Dylan trying to clear the puck out and then either bounced off of his stick or Jones and or Nieto.
When we were watching the replay, it got through Jones' 5-hole, and Dylan saw it, went to cleared it right into Nieto's stick, and Nieto elevated it over Dylan's stick into the net. I mean,
such a bang play, kind of like.
Yeah. But it's
like, it was lucky Dylan almost cleared it off. It was on the line. He was about to make a great save and clear it, but unfortunately it went right off of Nieto. So yeah, Nieto scored, but it's not like he had a breakaway and was the hero.
And I'll go back to something that I said in the Vegas series too. When San Jose went up 1-0 against Vegas, right? And you got people right now saying after game 1, they were saying that, oh, the Sharks are going to roll Colorado in 4, and it's like, no, guys, it's one game, relax.
Right.
Vegas won game 2 in the same way, Colorado won game 2 just today. I feel like San Jose is maybe just a step behind right now, not from fatigue factor and all that. We've talked about that a little bit, but just in the series. Yes, it's 1-1, it's tied. But again, my philosophy being, you kind of expect to win your home games. That's why it's called stealing a game, when you go into someone else's barn and you win. Well, Colorado stole a game today. I feel like we're just a little bit behind on the series, because it's expected of Colorado to win those home games when they go home, right? In Pepsi Center or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So the Sharks now need to catch their breath and steal a game in Colorado. And if they could do that, then I think we're even up again. So if they win game 3, to me, it's, we're up 2-1, but we're kind of back to being even, because I'm expecting at least one of those games to be a win for Colorado, being in their barn.
How much do you guys think that elevation will play a key? Because I know that the Sharks are not used to elevation, but Avs, they're not there right now too, so they have to get just as adjusted. Do they adjust quicker? I know that
it doesn't matter.
If I go to Denver, I can't breathe for the first night when I try to sleep. It's ridiculous.
But they live there and they travel to come to San Jose for a couple of days. It's not like they're going to lose it in a couple of days. It takes months of training to do that.
So they'll adjust quicker.
They will definitely adjust quicker.
Because they're playing 41 games in Colorado, and they play the other 41.
There.
Yeah, and they live there.
It's not just 41 days of games. It's 41 plus
practice,
living there. Yeah,
train in the off season. Wherever else. They're doing a lot of stuff in Colorado.
There's a reason, the men's national team for soccer, they play Mexico in Mexico City a lot. Mexico City is just like Denver. They train in Denver to get used to the altitude, because it's such a hard place to play in. So same thing, most of the training places go to Denver, or in that area because it's such a high altitude to get your lungs. Like even just not playing in altitude, when you train in that altitude and then you go to a non-high altitude place, your recovery time is quicker, and that's the difference. It's your breathing recovery. You're getting more oxygen because there's less oxygen in the altitude. That's the whole point of the difference in the altitude is there's less oxygen. I mean, it's very minimal amounts, but when you're not used to it, your body can't get that oxygen, especially as a high performance athlete. You're not getting the oxygen in the blood to your muscles as quickly as you normally do. So when you train in that atmosphere and you're used to it, it's going to help you. It's going to benefit you tremendously over somebody who doesn't do that kind of training.
A not so great analogy would be if you were wearing like a weighted vests and everything while you're training, and then you go and you play without the weighted vests on, right? So they're used to having that disadvantage on top of them. That's how they normally play. That's how they normally practice, right? When they go out to other arenas, it's kind of a boost for them. When they come back, and where everyone else is not used to that, for them, this is the default. This is ground zero.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it will play a part.
I know what you're thinking. I'm just going to say it. Well, if there are any Dragon Ball Z fans out there, yes, that.
No,
okay?
Dylan just said send them to the hyperbolic chamber.
The hyperbolic?
Hyperbaric chamber. Remind me of the hyperbaric time.
Yeah, but you can't train in one of those chambers. Like you can't skate on ice in a hyperbolic chamber, right?
You could if it was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's
so.
Yeah,
Not worried about it.
Anyway,
a lot of questions about Pavelski. I think I'm letting everybody know what I know, which is he's still listed as day-to-day, but I don't think he's skated with the team yet. And no return time.
He was seen at the arena, I think is what Brody said or somebody said.
But I can't imagine him not being, even if he's not skating, not hanging around the boys, right? Is the captain. He's going to be around. He's going to do stuff. So maybe he's doing workouts, like non-ice workouts where he's lifting weights.
Yeah,
just to see how it is.
Hey, Christopher Lindsay, real quick, by the way, $5 in the super chat, or it's CA $5. I'll try to join the team. What should I do? I think you guys were talking about that, right? Maybe start in a second because
we booted a couple of people that were inactive, that haven't played or done anything.
Yeah,
and I feel bad. We feel bad. But if we have
join our stuff.
If we have enough, I think what we'll do is we'll split. We'll have two teams. We'll have Paul lead one, and I'll lead the other one, and so we can have a red leader and a blue leader.
Well, it'll probably be a teal leader and a white leader or something. I mean, depending on how big it goes, we might have teal, white, black, orange. Who knows, right?
Right.
So, which would suck actually if you think about it, because then we can't play together on the same team, which is probably for the best. To be honest with you, we're not that good. So
also James Federico, $3.50. Thank you very much. No comment, but hey, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, you.
James.
We appreciate it. But anybody who's given us, supporting us monetarily, we really do appreciate it. It does help out the show a lot. So again, thank you guys so much for that. So back to what you should do if you can't get on to our club. I guess letting us know now would be great. You can always tweet us or something like that. Say, hey, I'd love to play. I'm ready to play right now or whatever. We got to find a good way for everybody to understand when they can all kind of come on at the same time, because a lot of it is they haven't had any games played because nobody's on at the same time. They would play, but they just can't. Right?
We usually play late at night because we put our kids down to bed, and when we're not doing the show, which is right now every other day.
Yeah.
So
so what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll try to kick some folks that have 0 games played or whatever, and then anybody who wants to jump back in, go ahead and do that. But if you're gonna jump in, please start playing. Right? If you see anybody on there that's got they're online as well, just message them and say, hey man, let's play, right? So that way I don't boot you.
So I want to ask about
wait, hold on. Sheridan says hi, Daddy.
I was gonna say hi.
I
was gonna say I want to talk about Colorado's top line, but first I want to say hello, Sheridan.
Hey Sheridan, how you doing? That's awesome.
But yeah, so you guys noted that they had, or you had me added up earlier, in the top line, top offensive line for Colorado have 5 points. The rest of their lines had, I think, 3 points combined. And then their defense, one guy had 3 points because he had 1 goal and I think 2 assists.
Yeah. And that was what I was saying too.
A nice goal.
Was the only from the blue line, there's only one guy that I think is threatening. Well, no, but I think there's only one guy. For me, there's only the one guy that's threatening. It's Tyson Barrie.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the 2 young guys, but I don't know. For me, they're still pretty young, and if the Sharks are putting bodies on those guys like they ought to, I just think they're too young. I think they're just going to crumble. But you got to lay the body on them. You can't let off. It's an investment, like the guys keep saying. A hit in this game is an investment for the whole rest of the series. Bang them up. We're already tired. We're already banged up. They need to share in that pain.
Yeah.
Right? So hit them as much as you can. And for a 20-year-old guy who's playing defense, you can throw that puck in the corner. He's got to retrieve it, drill him, right? I'm not asking for injuries. I don't want to injure anybody, but you do need to wear them down.
We got another $2 from Christopher Lindsay.
Oh, thank you.
Second question then, do you want to play after the show? I'm personally,
yes.
I will not be on tonight. I'm going to watch Game of Thrones, and I need to go to bed because I'm exhausted. Tomorrow night I'll be on, though.
What time does Game of Thrones start?
It's streaming, so I can.
Oh,
put it
okay.
on.
So right after this, I'll watch that with my wife probably, and then after that,
But it's
yes, I'll
gonna
be
be like
on.
an hour and a half long.
That's
tonight.
fine. It'll probably be like 11 o'clock or so. I'm sure I'll be there. So
I won't be on tonight, but I'll be on tomorrow night.
So hockey.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going back to just what do they need to do against that top line, or what do they?
Period one. The exact same thing they did in period one.
And game one.
Sure.
I think most of game one they played the way that they should play the series out, like every period. So I think what we saw in period one today was pure dominance. Like it looked like the Avs had about less than 5 minutes of zone time in the offensive zone, and the Sharks were just all over them. The Sharks just couldn't convert, and we see this time and time again. Every Sharks fan sees this where, wow, they look great, they're dominating, and they just cannot score. They cannot finish. Kane's goal I thought was great. He kicked it to his stick and put it in.
Beautiful.
I think that was good for him to get him rolling because he is kind of one of those guys that streaks. So hopefully he's going to continue that and streak upward and score some goals. Same with Burns. He had 2 goals tonight. So I think he was kind of snake bitten a little bit towards the end of that Vegas series. So it's good to see him score some goals and show why he led the team in scoring, or at least in points during the regular season.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they need to do. They know what they need to do. They just need to execute it.
Needing to execute it, really, for me, that comes down to, again, just having your legs and being tired and being banged up. A lot of people I see on social saying, "Gosh, where's the heart? How come they're not trying? It looks like they're not going out there." And it's like, well, you have to understand these guys are human beings, and their bodies take a toll. It's not a video game, right? You can't just wait for your endurance bar to come back up and just go. It's a grind, and these guys are feeling the effects of it right now. That Vegas series takes a whole heck of a lot out of you,
And something that doesn't help too is when you have a good chance to clear and you don't. Like I think it was either the second or third goal. They had a chance to clear. They can't. Now they're still tired.
Yeah.
But they could get a change. But now they're stuck in the defensive end, and it's.
But it's compounding, right?
Right.
Because you couldn't clear it because you're tired, because you're exhausted.
Chicken or the egg?
I think that's one of the things that they need to focus on is realize the importance of clearing a puck out of the zone no matter what. If you kind of do a weak attempt and you don't get it out, it's going to come back and bite you. So you work a little bit harder just to make sure that puck gets out. And
or you start taking
don't
penalties.
ice it.
Or you start taking penalties because you're tired and you couldn't get a good clear and now you're tripping.
Yep.
Or
stick infractions come from being tired.
like if you're trying to do a poke check from skating behind somebody.
Yeah, but Aaron's
5
never
times
tired.
in a game.
Never tired. He just does it. Also, so I saw. Actually, let me go back up here real quick. Kane's goal was pretty. I thought it was nice because he collected it, kicked it to himself, and then tapped it in.
He got in behind the defense. He didn't get boxed out, and he just kicked it over to himself and tapped it right in. It's beautiful.
But some people are saying Kane probably needs to be doing a little bit more aside from that one goal he got tonight, and also Meier. Like I was hoping that even if it was an empty net, I was hoping that would be like, okay, here's your confidence a little bit, come out and play hard, and then I'm sure he's playing hard, but he took a couple bad penalties, right? Or is it just the one?
Who, Kane?
Yeah, no, Meier.
Oh, Meier? Yeah, I know he got that one. I don't know.
It might have just been the one because they only got 2 overall power plays. So, but yeah, I think I'm hoping he just get some confidence back because he played so well throughout the season, especially in their first half of the season.
Well, and again, you can have all the confidence in the world if your legs aren't working for you. There's nothing you can do about it, right? So, it's again being healthy, right? And that goes beyond just injury. Being healthy means being able to work 100% as well. If your legs can't get going, your lungs aren't working. You could try as hard as you like, but you're probably not going to go very far with that. So it's a recovery period right now. They need to recuperate, and unfortunately, they're going to have to try to do that Game 3 in Colorado.
So, and one big factor here, Jordan Marley, Grubauer will be the difference in this series. He cooled off the Sharks after the first goal. Do they need to find a solution for him, or do they just need to get a little more puck movement without getting stuck passing the puck all the time?
Yeah, you always want to find a solution for the opposing goaltender. There's no doubt about that. I think most goaltenders, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not, most goaltenders, you want to go side to side with them. You want to make a move. The more they move, the less they're set. And the more they have to make that desperation, spectacular save, that make saves of that variety, as opposed to just being able to sit there and play the angle that they want, and then you shoot it at them, and all they have to do is either drop down or grab it or whatever else. You want them on the move, right? So cross crease passes, that kind of stuff is great. We've seen a lot where we just go from the left wing boards across on the right wing boards, and then the shot from like power plays and whatnot. But getting him moving back and forth is a really big piece of it. The other part of it is just getting in their eyes. We saw this with Marc-Andre Fleury. Get in his eyes, and he's going to have a real... You try. You cover your face and have someone throw a tennis ball at you or a beach ball. Good luck. You're probably not going to catch it, right? So, yeah, thank you. So... yeah, go ahead.
Raider Rich and Christ says we should have not taken the goalie out the first time, and I don't like empty nets, but I understand the function of it because it's a go for broke. You get an extra attacker out there. I just don't like him because I love playing against him. I hate when I see it unless it works, and then I'm like, that was a brilliant idea.
Of course, right. So here's the thing. Hindsight is 20/20, right? So it's very easy for us to say what should have happened or not should have happened. Frankly, even though they scored the goal, I'm still sitting here saying, yeah, you pull the goalie. Because if it's 3-2, and then if it's 3-2, you need to get a goal. You sacrifice your ability to defend for the ability to try to get that goal. That period. So here's the thing: if it was 3-2, Avs, and we played the last 3 minutes without pulling Martin Jones, and we didn't score, wouldn't people be in an uproar saying, "Why didn't you pull Jones?"
Yes.
So you got to pull Jones. It sucks that it goes in, but you got to pull Jones.
You have to rely on your offense, your line that's out there, your offense and defense, to possess the puck and get pressure on them and score the goal, score the tying goal at that point.
Yeah.
So you have to do it. You roll the chances, you roll the dice, and you go for it. It's like in football, and you don't go for two when you need to, and you're down.
Right.
Like you're trying to go, you go for one, and it just doesn't make sense.
The one time I really dislike it is, and again, it's kind of like a 5-on-3 situation, is when you pull the goalie when you're on the power play. That one, because then you don't even have the fear of icing in their hearts.
Right.
Like, normally they're like, I got to get a good clear, I got to get the puck up. If they have free reign to just throw it down, they're going to do that every time. And I saw that in. I think it was the Tampa versus Columbus series where it was just like they were just chucking it down the ice, and they got like two 180-foot kind of shots.
For me, that's like if we're up a goal and the other team pulls their goalie, I take whatever liberties you'd want to do on the other team and take a penalty there, because then you can ice the puck.
Yeah.
To me, I'd rather just do it that way. Like you play hard, you make sure they don't score, and you make sure they don't even get a shot off. Take a penalty, haul the guy down, whatever you need to do. And then make sure you win that face-off and shoot it down the ice, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and Brandon Clark brings up a good point when he says maybe we would have won if we had Bobrovsky.
Oh, just digging.
I did enjoy seeing them come back and get a win against the Bruins there. That was nice. And then
I was surprised, actually.
The other game was the Stars played well, right?
Yeah.
But can we at least say that this game was not a loss because Martin Jones was bad?
I don't believe
let's at least say that.
This was
right?
a lack in offense for the Sharks.
I understand that you're joking. Don't get me wrong. I get that.
The Sharks scored a goal with 10 seconds left. 10.9 seconds, right? They wouldn't have scored that goal if the other team didn't score a goal. Like it's called the butterfly effect, right? Like you don't. If one thing doesn't happen, it doesn't change the court. I'm not going to explain that whole thing, but it's not like the Sharks would have been like, oh, they could have kept Jones in and they would have scored that goal and tied it with 10 seconds left. That's not how that would have worked.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions?
None of those goals were Jones's fault. I thought Jones played pretty well tonight.
Yeah, I thought he played great.
I think he played just like he played the last 3 games of the Vegas and the last game.
And for anybody in the comments, whoever's made that comment about Bobrovsky, for the people in the comments, I'm pretty sure he was joking. Do not flame him, okay? Just relax. It's okay. He's just playing.
It's going back to back to the regular season and all that. So. Yeah, no, Burns scoring with 10 seconds left. So I'm listening to I'm in the 98.5 KFOX. I'm in my car listening to the radio. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was Baker or Hedekin who was like, "Oh, don't call that penalty. The 17 seconds. The game's over." And I'm like, "Oh, well, he just pretty much guaranteed that the Sharks are going to get a goal on this power play." And 7 seconds later, there it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I don't think there's enough time. I would love for there to be enough time.
10.9 seconds is still a lot of time if you win the faceoff, which the Sharks did. And if you can get everyone in and get towards the net, and they almost did. It kind of went around.
Carlson got the puck with 2 seconds
if
left.
If they can get, he almost had a shot. If there's just if he got that a split second before, he could have gotten a good shot off. And I've seen crazier. Like you see that in hockey.
So have I.
Yeah.
In person a few days ago.
We've seen 4 goals in one power play.
Well, and no, even during the season, didn't Kane get a goal with like 0.3 seconds left or something like that?
Yeah, 1.0 I think is what it was.
I'm gonna make it more dramatic and say 0.3.
And that was a winner. It wasn't even a game tying goal, right? That one.
No, that was the tying goal.
Oh, because we've seen him score, I think, at least twice this season with less than 5 seconds in the game. They scored a goal to win it, like in regulation. That just completely stole a point away, essentially, from the other team. So, yeah, we've seen crazier things happen.
Jason Hillier asks a question, because we're getting a lot of comments, but I'll try to focus on questions.
Yeah.
Well, anyone, actually, first quick, Bone Diggity 777777777. Any thoughts on the second line, Hurdle, Kane, Radil?
I don't. So Radil, I don't have a problem with Radil. I don't think that he's a, let's say, second line player, but I also don't think that I feel comfortable labeling those lines first, second, and third lines. I think there are 3 scoring lines. Does Radil belong on a scoring line? Then is the question. On any one of those 3 lines, personally, I'd rather see him using the body with the energy line, folks. That's just me. But I'd like to see somebody else, maybe a little bit more skill on that line. Unfortunately, Donskoy's not ready to go yet. Otherwise, he, for me, is a shoe-in on that line. I think Nyquist was playing with Couture, was it? Who was he playing with tonight, Nyquist?
He was on the top line, I thought.
Yeah, was it with Couture, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, I could see Nyquist playing on that line as well, giving a little bit of extra skill. Nyquist is really, one of the things I noticed about him, he is tenacious on the forecheck. Absolutely tenacious on the forecheck.
He's a quick player, fast player.
Yeah, and if he lifts your stick and takes that puck, good luck. He's got some wheels too. So, I don't know. I think right now we have depth on the team. Don't get me wrong, because we still have 3 solid scoring lines. It's just now you've kind of got maybe a hole where you're filling it with Radil, and I don't know that Radil is the right guy that I would plug in there.
Who did they take out in the line? Because like the last time it was you had that third line that basically couldn't be countered.
Yeah.
So what was the difference tonight?
Well, Gambrell was playing on the 4th line center. Gambrell got sat.
Haley was in.
Haley got put in, and everyone's like, "Oh, Haley sucks." And I thought Haley played a decent game.
He played. I saw one play where he was back on defense on a break.
Yeah.
And he was playing defense.
And he poked it. Yeah.
Completely broke up the play, and it went back the other way, and they got a scoring chance right afterwards. So I was like, "Wow." I was like, was that Haley?
Yeah.
That was Haley. I thought it was a great play.
You know what's hilarious is I've seen during some of the practices, obviously not recently because they shut it down for playoffs to being open to public, but I've seen a couple practices where they had Haley playing as a defenseman. I guess they just had, guys were banged up and they took the day off, and Haley played on defense, and I'm like, she's actually not bad on D. So, it was good to see.
He's not a bad player.
He's not.
He's
really
not
isn't.
A 4th line goon that you used to see.
He just doesn't. He's not a guy that you would put on your roster to try to put the puck in the net, but he's also not a goon, right? He serves a purpose, and he plays the game fairly well. You're not going to see him score any goals. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means he's playing his role, and he's actually not doing a terrible job of it. But back to Radil, I think Radil is kind of being put in there just because we need a guy, right? Right now, our depth is a little bit hurt, so he's stepping in. He's doing an admirable job, but I just think that given a healthy Sharks roster, you probably wouldn't see him there.
All right, I want to ask a question for...
Wait, hold on.
Is that new?
Raider Rich and Christ gave us another $2 and said, thank you guys, go Sharks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for the question.
So
All right, Jason Hillier, question. What do you guys think of the power play during the second period where the Sharks were trying to be really pretty with it, passing, and then Colorado clears?
Too much passing.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that. I want to see him work the puck around and get a quick shot off and then get those rebounds. I feel like they try and go for the tic-tac-toe goals too much, and it doesn't always work, especially in the playoffs. You just need to get more shots on net.
What period was he talking about?
Second period.
Second period? Okay,
second
I'm going to
period.
say not second period. I'm going to say season. The Sharks pass a lot. That's just what they do. It's unfortunate, but they do. They pass a whole heck of a lot. Now, Aaron and I have talked about this before on the show. Part of the problem, I think, with the too much passing is that there's not a trigger man.
Right.
Right? We've said this so many times. They've got LeBanc, who's right-handed, on the right wing. They've got Thornton, who's left-handed, on the left
They
wing.
need to swap Burns.
If you swap, somebody put Burns on the Joe
I think
Thornton area.
if you have Carlson and Burns,
Yeah.
Carlson gives you the same thing that Burns does on the right side, the top, whatever you call it, point. And set up Burns in the Ovechkin slot there.
For the one-timer.
Pavelski, they kind of set Pavelski up there sometimes. Or he's in front of the net.
Yeah,
if he's
yeah,
not in
yeah,
front of the net, and he's out there looking for the one-timer.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I would rather see there be a trigger man on the power play. Now, again, I'm not Pete DeBoer. I'm not Steve Spott. I'm not a professional NHL coach. I just see what I see. And to me, it just makes more sense to have a trigger man. Be that Burns, be that anybody. As long as you've got that, if you're right-handed shot on the left-hand side. That way, when it comes over, it's easy to one-time it. It's really difficult to do a one-timer with any power to it as a right-handed shot on the right-hand side, unless you're just streaking towards the net and then passing across and you kind of tapping it.
It's hard to time it. Like, you have to let it come across your body and hit it the same way, as opposed to, like, if you're coming
in the wheelhouse.
Right.
I think they just need to, at least in my non-professional hockey viewing, I think they need to also vary it up, because your power, like what Jason Hiller also says, like, get some more screens in front of Grubauer.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if that tic-tac-toe's not working, just put a big body in front of him and attempt to block his vision completely, like you said.
Exactly.
Try to catch a tennis ball with somebody with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Sharks are sometimes too predictable and pass way too much, from Karina Sarkari.
I understand, and I said it even just before, there's two ways for me in terms of beating a goaltender.
Yeah.
Passing it and making him move, which is great. But at some point, you got to put the puck on net. You can't just pass and make the goalie move. You have to make him move for a purpose. And the purpose is to put the puck on the net. Exactly. So if you're not doing that, then what's the point of passing it all over the place, right?
Well, and Alex E says, passing opens shooting lanes. Can't stand hearing the tank yell, shoot when the pick would go right into defender's shin pads. But I do believe that you get stuck passing, and after a while, like, you got a hard reset or something. You know, throw it out, try to get a rebound or something.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna spend the time passing 6 or 7 times, they're not falling for your ploy to open the shooting lane.
Right.
So you have to try something different.
Yeah.
Crash the net, do something.
They have to be quicker. They have to be quicker on those passes and then shooting.
Yeah.
Getting the shot off quicker.
You can't really just dust it off. You got to unload.
Right.
And the fastest way to unload is off of a one-timer, and that's where we're saying we need to have a trigger man, right? So
here's a great question that I think is right in our philosophy of this show.
Okay.
This is from Jordan
It's
Marley.
in our wheelhouse.
What is your guys' silver lining from this game?
Silver lining?
Yeah. What's the good you could take away?
You go first.
Well, I'm just saying, what's the good you could take away going into Game 3?
The good, again, for me,
nice
is we didn't lose. Are tired. That's what it is. So, not saying that Colorado can't beat us. They can. But I feel like with a fully healthy roster, not even just guys that are out, that are injured, coming back in the fold, like Joe Pavelski, for instance.
Right.
Don't forget, guys, we're missing our leading scorer and our captain right now, okay? But just the guys that are out there on the ice right now.
That fact alone, most teams would be doomed, right?
So, no, and that's an excellent point. Just the guys that were out there last night, or for tonight, rather. If all of them were not so tired, not so banged up, right? That's all I'm looking for. And
your audio dropped. Can you say that all over again?
What?
Your audio dropped.
Where do you want me to start?
I don't know. They just said everyone said start it over.
Okay. Basically, what I'm saying is the Sharks beat themselves tonight because they were so exhausted. If you had all the guys that were on the ice tonight, if they weren't as exhausted, I think you might see a different outcome. I'm not saying that Colorado can't beat the Sharks. They certainly can. But at least for tonight, I feel like they didn't beat us. We beat ourselves just by being tired. So that for me is a silver lining. I think if we get... He's going to sneeze.
Sorry.
I think if we get back... to being healthy, if you will. And by that, I just mean having our lungs and our legs back. Forget about if you have a broken finger, right? I'm just saying just that you can breathe again and you can move your legs again.
Yeah.
We get back to that. Look at period 1 before we got really exhausted. We shut them down.
I'm hoping the Sharks come out, and what's good is they can take this game and the tape of it, if you will, and study it tomorrow and say, okay, this is what we did right and this is what we did wrong. This is how we're going to correct it. We know we're the better team. We know we should win this series and win these games. So I think they will correct their mistakes going into Game 3. And they should. I'm hoping that they split Games 3 and 4 and to come back at least split and come back 2-2. I mean, it'd be awesome if they won.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to bug you again.
Okay.
Raider again chimed in with $2. Thank you very much. When do you guys think Joe Pavelski will be back?
What I heard on the radio, I actually heard this from Jamie Baker. He called into NHL Network the other night. He was talking to him, and he said that he doesn't know. Jamie Baker doesn't even know, and he's like, even if I didn't know, I wouldn't tell you. So, but I believed him that he didn't know.
It's going to be the Sharks or DeBoer or somebody's going to come out and say.
But
that's what I say. He's day to day. That's all.
They're not going to give any information. Yeah. However, what Jamie Baker said is, once you see him skating on the ice, that's a good sign that it's going to be soon. And right now he's not skating, so it's not soon.
Yeah.
So once he starts skating, I'd give it a day or two. At least he's going to try out skating, because I'm going to assume they won't say concussion. I don't know why they won't say it. It's like that's like the word you'd never want to say, like Pee-wee's Funhouse, right? Like you just don't want to say the secret word. So nobody wants to say concussion. I'm sure he got a concussion. He was knocked out. Those take time, and there's no timetable for it because everybody is different. Everybody's head is different. Everyone reacts to it differently. Do you remember Sidney Crosby a couple years ago missed almost an entire season because of concussions? He couldn't wake up without feeling dizzy, feeling sick, nauseous, throwing up after a workout. And even then, like, you feel great for a day or two, and then complete backlash or back a lapse in your body.
I mean, these are the types of things that can ruin careers. You know, Eric Lindros, Paul Correa. You know, there's tons of players that have had concussions, and it messed with their careers. And we're hoping that that's not the case with Joe Pavelski. Obviously, forget playoffs. I just hope that the guy is okay. Right? That's the main concern for me. Is I just hope that Joe Pavelski as a person is okay, and that this isn't a career-ending thing for him. I really hope that it's not, because he's a great player and he deserves more. Having said that, they're not going to push him back in if he can't play, and I think that's the right move. I don't think you want to rush back in. Now, is he going to say I'm ready to go, I'm ready to play? Probably, yeah. And I hope that he's wiser than that. But
I mean, Couture has that whole foundation on head injuries.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's gonna, Couture's gonna talk to him and be like, you're not ready, don't come back.
Yeah.
He's not like, the team's not pressuring him to come back. I mean, so he's gonna come back when he can and when he can play.
And before I'll let you talk in just a second, but one of the things that we said was, talking about depth on this team, right, and the depth being tested. Can this team win without Joe Pavelski in it? Yeah. I really think they can. And that's not saying Joe Pavelski is not needed.
Right.
But it's to say that this team is very deep.
I think they should have won tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They ended up scoring all their goals in Game 7 without Joe Pavelski.
And I don't want to say they deserve to win, because I hate when people say they deserve to win. They should have won. They could have won, but they shot themselves in the foot too early and couldn't recover. So I think that's what beat the Sharks, what we said before. What beat the Sharks was the Sharks. Yeah. They beat themselves.
So I don't remember where I heard it, but I believe it was Joe Thornton saying, like, what we're going to do, like, we don't know when he's coming back. What we're going to do is we're going to keep trying to win games so that he has the best chance of playing in these playoffs again. And I think that's all you can do, is you can say, look, I don't want every series to go 7, but it would be nice to see them continue on to the next round, to be like, hey, we got a fresh 4 games. Hopefully he can come back then.
Yeah.
But
they're playing for Joe, not so much to win it for Joe, but to extend it as long as they can to give him the opportunity to come back and play.
I mean, if the Sharks won tonight and you're going up 2-0 in the series into Colorado, I bet Pavelski takes his time even more to make sure, right? Because then they come back, maybe they lose game, or maybe they split in Colorado and then they come back 3-1. Then you're like, okay, we could finish this series out in games 5 or 6, right? Sure. Then you're not pressuring him to come back. Now that it's 1-1 and we're going in, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see him come back a little bit earlier.
So
this series.
Real quick, so Jordan Marley actually asks, can you guys give your thoughts on his play? I know he scored a goal, but he was a non-factor after that. Just want your thoughts on him. But Jason Hillier, right before that, said Pavelski is great in the face-off circle, and we need him for that.
He didn't score a goal.
He got hit in the face.
He got credited for the goal. He didn't score a goal.
No,
it went off his jaw and happened to go into the net. So I mean,
they don't ask how, just how many.
I understand. I'm just saying he got credited for a goal. There is a difference. But now that's not to say that the captain's not, needed and he's not useful. Obviously he's extremely useful. He's 38 goals on the season right before playoffs started. So he led the team. So it would be great to have him back in there, especially on the power play, especially his tipping ability. He causes havoc in front of the net. He's always taking those cross checks to the back and everything.
I think the power play misses him.
He's a big part of that, which is honestly, it's funny that you said that though, because again, back to Game 7, we didn't have him. They scored 4 power play goals in 4 minutes. It's happened once in 8,447 other occurrences, and they did it without Joe Pavelski there. So again, right? So can this team win without Joe Pavelski? Yes, absolutely they can. We've got enough depth on this team that we can get the job done.
How many guys are injured overall right now?
Donskoy,
actually out.
Yeah, Donskoy, Pavelski, Šimek are the main ones.
I thought there was a third.
Haley went down, but
he's back now.
Yeah. If there are any other guys that I'm missing, please let me know. But I think that's
we're not out any other defensemen out there.
Šimek. Rom Aben gives a question here.
Yes.
Is it time to dress 7 D-men going into Game 3? He says if Pavs can't play, but
I
it's
don't
just
think
in
so.
general.
I thought Haley played great tonight.
Yeah,
and that would be the person who would be scratched. I think.
I don't mind having Haley in there at all. I think Haley played great for the little bit of time that I saw him there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, even the guys on like NBC or whatever, they were commenting. It was like 17 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first period, and they're like, DeBoer's already rolled through all 4 lines. All 4 lines have already seen the ice. Mm-hmm. So he actually does like running with all 4 lines, at least right off the hop there. So I think as the game goes on, obviously the top 3 lines are going to have more ice time than the energy line will. But he does like rolling through all those 4. So if you play with 7 defensemen, you're taking one of those guys away from one of those lines, presumably the energy line, in which case then you need to play a winger or a center or somebody else double shifting when you want to play those guys as well. So I don't know. I kind of feel like he'll stick with the 4 line setup, and there's really no reason to go away from it.
I don't feel like you'd need that 7th defenseman even in the high altitude.
Yeah.
For tiredness, I think you'd need the forwards more than the defenseman, the extra defenseman. Because you're sitting Ryan for the most part in third periods, right? So you're essentially playing 5 defensemen. Why would you need the person they'd be putting in is another Jochen Ryan type that is not going to get a lot of minutes, right? Tim Heed's not going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get maybe 10 minutes instead of 7, right?
Yeah.
So then you have a guy getting 10 and another guy getting. I mean, at that point, Jochen Ryan's is probably even going to go down more ice time.
Right.
So I think to me it's worth it to have an extra forward in case a forward goes down and you have someone else to fill in, or just to roll those 4 forward lines and getting their legs moving. Plus, you want that energy line in Colorado, man. You want them to beat them up and put the pressure on them.
Yeah.
So I think they would not play 7 defensemen.
And I think that we're very lucky to have 3 defensemen in Marc-Eduard Vlasic, Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson, who all play very large amount of minutes, right? Even Justin Braun's been used to playing large amounts of minutes, playing alongside of Vlasic usually. This season, not so much, but I think those guys can handle a ton of minutes, and they have handled a ton of minutes, right? So I don't think that you need necessarily to have another defenseman there to take any minutes away from them. I think we're okay in terms of the fatigue factor and everything. Those guys are used to playing that many minutes. Sure, it'd be great for them to get a little bit of a break, but I think you're right. I think the forward core, you don't want to double shift any of those guys. You want, because they're not used to playing more minutes than they really need to. They're used to playing 20 or so.
Real quick, Bone Thug 408, Mr. SJ Shark 408, hopping on 3s. Let's go Roosters.
Hey,
Roosters, chickens. That's what. Well, the name of the thing is chickens, but it's a rooster, I guess.
4 paws up for hockey wants to know.
Hey.
LeBanc went out and came back during the 3rd period. Went to the tunnel. Doctor ran after him. Does anyone know what happened? Did you guys see what happened
during the 3rd period?
During the 3rd.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was. So the second intermission, I started driving over here, so I basically only listened on the radio. I didn't catch everything that was going on, so I'm not sure about that one. But I do want to say one thing real quick. 4 paws up for hockey. I see you on Twitter all the time, so thank you for joining the stream. That's awesome. We're good. Glad to have you here. Thank you. Did you know anything about that?
No.
I hadn't heard anything. Yeah.
If anyone in chat knows what happened, if it was just if
Yeah.
it was, I was going to say equipment repair, but if it was a doctor chasing him there, who knows? Maybe he blocked a shot.
Yeah. If anybody,
it could have been a stinger and he had to walk it off. We see that a lot. Where they get it in the leg and they just need to literally walk it in to get their legs moving and not sit on the bench. They walk it out in the hallway. I mean, the doctor chases after to make sure they're okay. But I didn't see what happened to him, so I don't know.
Also, I know he's not coming back this year, but they're saying Šimek was also walking around without his brace now.
Yeah, it's about
That's
time.
good.
It's been a month.
Yeah.
2 months. That's about the right timeline.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, you're right. He's not coming back, but it's great to see that he's feeling better. He's on his way to recovery. He's progressing, so that's promising.
Still won't see him until after Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
well,
hey,
it's a
again,
while.
we're talking
Yeah.
about. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but for next season with him, depending on who's signing and cap situation and all that jazz, it'd be great to have a guy like Šimek who's probably not going to cost you
He's
too
a
much.
cap-friendly guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's very cap friendly, and if he's a guy that can play alongside Brent Burns reliably, yes, please, right?
Got a question from Rob Amon. Is it time to switch Ryan for Heed?
No,
No.
they won't do it.
They don't want 2 right-handeds on the same defensive pairing.
Honestly, that's what it comes down
That's
to.
all it is. So Ryan is getting played because of that. So lucky him.
If Tim Heed was a left-handed shot,
Yeah.
he'd be playing. Seriously, I'm not even joking. If Tim Heed was a left-handed shot, he'd be playing.
Raider again, $2. Thank you very much.
Dude, thank you, Raider.
Burns on
Wow.
fire and fire burns.
I don't get it. You want to fire burn?
Not fire.
No, you don't want to fire Burns. Yeah.
If you hold fire, it will burn you.
Right. No, that's good. It's true too. When that guy gets going, watch out because
Well,
he's
I mean,
an
he was the
animal.
point scorer leader for the Sharks,
Yeah.
and then he was not non-existent in the last series, but he was not playing his full potential at least.
Was that a Game of Thrones spoiler?
No,
Oh, it better not be.
don't think of it as one, and it won't be one.
Okay, real quick, Game of Thrones fire Burns. I mean, come on, there's dragons. You're gonna get fired
Stop
somewhere.
it. Stop
You're
it.
gonna get
We're not
fired
even gonna talk.
somewhere.
Turn off your mic.
Good lord, man. Good lord.
Hey, real quick, Canes won today too.
Before you go there, what I was going to say
Too late,
about
I
Burns.
did.
What about Burns was not only just the goals tonight, where he pumped him in there. How about that hip check?
Oh.
How about that check?
Somebody asked that earlier, and I told you guys what I thought too. It reminded me of just that open ice Rob Blake, like, hey, have you seen my butt lately?
Rob Blake. You mean
Scott Stevens?
No, I was going to say Kyle McLaren.
Yeah, we can go on.
Yeah.
I mean,
keep saying.
he and you. So something you said is that's not a check for tonight.
Yeah.
That is a check for the
For the
next.
rest
That
of
is the
the
next 5
series.
games right
He's
there.
going to feel that the rest of
That
the series.
is-
He was hurt. He got the wind
Yeah.
knocked out of him. He was down on the ice. So he's going to feel that for the next couple games.
I'll
at least.
ask
Burns.
this though.
Go ahead.
I want to ask this: should he have focused? I mean, yes, he invested in that hit.
Yeah.
Should he have focused on getting the puck to stop the empty net?
No, because he wasn't going to stop it anyway.
Oh, true. Okay.
He wasn't
That
even
was
close
easy.
to stopping the puck, so he was following through and checking the life out of him. So I'm glad he didn't go for the puck and miss it and miss the check. He's going to miss the puck anyway, so take him out and
Brent-
feel it later.
Brent Burns got his paycheck, went straight to the bank, and just deposited it into his savings account. Okay, that is an investment for the rest of the series. Was it Calvert that he drilled?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, and Calvert's Calvert is
He's
their
their big boy,
Haley,
right?
He's their
Yeah.
big guy. And Burns, you know what's hilarious? If you look at the replay, here comes Burns, and it looks like he's about to level him, and then all he's doing is turning backwards. And it's like he's from me to you, and he's starting to turn backwards. It's like he could have just thrown a shoulder in
Yeah.
there.
Well, he
but
always
Burns
does.
loves to throw his butt at people
Yeah.
instead. So,
I think it's a safer way for him to hit where he doesn't hurt himself.
yeah, I like that.
And he doesn't get a penalty for coming up high and hitting the guy in the head or whatever.
And it's sad because the open ice hip check is dead,
Yeah.
but not so much.
Thank you, Raider, Rich, and Christ again. The Fin Factor rocks the block. Love the show. Thanks, bud.
Dude, thank you.
Thanks
That's-
for,
I
tuning
appreciate it.
in.
What is that, up to like 10 now?
Yeah.
Goodness. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Carlson was mad. He broke his stick on the
Yeah.
goalpost,
Yeah.
and Burns went for the hit of the hit instead of the clear.
It's fine. It's one game.
Yeah.
It's one game.
It's,
Yeah.
again,
And the thing is, like that, any other game that doesn't see a penalty in the last 17 seconds where they score in 7 seconds ends 4-2.
sure.
You know, because it's basically like, okay, it's an empty net. They got possession. They got a pass option. They're gonna get that goal. It's gonna end 4-2.
Yeah.
No one saw. Okay, oh well, it's a penalty in the last 17 seconds, and then the Sharks get a goal, and it's like, okay, hang on, they might tie this.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
normally I actually thought it was gonna end 5-2 because they kept Jones on the bench for the ensuing faceoffs, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a risky maneuver there because if you lose the draw, then they have possession and they're not possessing it deep in their zone. They've got it in the neutral zone. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
So luckily they won the draw. So
Someone asked if you're going to be jumping on tonight, and you are.
Yes, I am.
He is. Paul
It'll
will
be
on.
late though. It'll probably be in like the 11 o'clock region, somewhere in
Pacific,
there.
11 o'clock Pacific.
Pacific time, yes.
Because
So,
we got people all over the place.
Yeah, and Nicholas Kronwall of Detroit hit like that.
yeah,
That's another one that used to hit like
yeah. You get Cronwald.
that. Burns' defense was unreal this game. I think he's playing better defensively than he has been. Did you see the breakaway? I guess it was a breakaway. It was almost like a 2-on-0, and he came from behind and swiped.
I did not.
Oh, I think that was in the first, maybe second period. I thought looking at the replay,
Yeah.
watching it live, I was like, wow, you made a great play flying. You watch the replay, I don't think he hit the puck. I think it should have been a penalty. He got lucky. It's one of those poke checks from behind where he's on the ice sweeping his stick, and he kind of swept the guy's feet out. He took the stick and puck, but on the replay it looked like he didn't even hit the puck.
Yeah, I mean,
so he got lucky.
You are the authority on.
But it worked. It would have been a 2-on-0, and he stopped it from behind.
That's
like,
great.
Just ridiculous.
Nice.
So,
$2 more dollars
yes.
from Raider again, and he said, "You're welcome and thank you guys." Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Jordan Marley, my silver lining is that the
Wait, I'm sorry. The Raider, he knows that he can make comments without having to give.
Oh, totally. I mean, but it's
just checking. Yeah, but we do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We do
obviously,
appreciate it, but yeah. So my silver lining is that
What? What are you doing?
Joe's just
audio
messing
cut
with
out.
Oh.
No, so Jordan Marley, my silver lining is the Sharks lost Game 2 to Vegas and won the series.
I hope we don't go down 3-1 in the series.
I could not take a 3-1,
Yeah.
and I think at that point I would start or
Yes.
disliking the Avs more.
Yeah, so here's my whole take on this is, again, you kind of want to win your home games, right? So for me, the Sharks weren't able to do that, but it's not a death sentence. I mean, teams go on and steal games at other people's barns all the time. And again, we referenced the LA Kings San Jose series, where I think somebody said it was 2013, where the home team did not win a game. It was always the away team winning every single game. So it's not like it's a rule necessarily, but it's almost like that's the benchmark for me. Is you expect that the home team is going to win their games. When they don't win them, they call it stealing a game. So I think the Sharks need to go in there and steal a game, at least one, from Colorado, because the last thing they need to do is have two series going to game sevens, back-to-back series going to game sevens,
and being behind in the series and coming back,
being behind 3-1 in each series. Again, I can handle 2-2 and then going down 3-2. That's not as bad, but when you're coming back from 3-1, as we just saw against Vegas, that's taxing.
Yeah.
So
well, and somebody else mentioned this earlier, and I'm not going to scroll up to find it, but it was a good point when it came up. Was Sharks were on a 4-goal win streak, right? With 2 of those games being overtime, one of them being a double overtime. So as far as being gassed, but it's like you play the numbers. I mean, the most the Sharks put in a row in the season was 6, I think.
7.
Seven.
I think 7.
So it's like you're going to lose a couple. So I'm hoping that this was okay. They got 4, they lost 1. Let's go get 3 more now.
Yeah, they're streaky. But again, it wasn't like the Sharks were outplayed tonight. They hurt themselves.
They hurt themselves,
but
but
the Avs are really dominating.
I won't count the Avs out for anything, because the Avs could have been just saying, "Oh, we're tired too, and we're just going to skate slow too." Like again, that first game looked like they were just feeling each other out.
Well, I think there's a much different tone to this series than there was with the Vegas series, right? The Vegas series was heavier. There was a lot more drama. They didn't like each other at all, that kind of thing. And even the fan bases are just like, "I hate you," right? Except for that VGK coverage guy. He was cool. But I mean, for the most part, it's just like, God, the fans were just on each other. I mean, Vegas is still crying on social media about the call, right? The penalty. And they they can't get over it. But it's hilarious thing is, the San Jose fans keep firing back about it too. So it's like, it's just never going to stop.
I've also seen other teams talking about it. So whatever it is.
But
I hope the Sharks win the cup so that Vegas can be like, there should be an asterisk on that. Like, no, there shouldn't. Yeah. We would have won the cup. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't know.
But it's a different tone. This one, there's not the animosity. There's not the hate. There's not that heavy feel to it, right? They don't have a Ryan Reeves type character on their team. There's Matt Calvert, who just got lit up by our leading scorer on the team, right? I mean, that's saying something. When the guy who has the most points on your team out-hit the guy who's like the hitter on your team, right?
Yeah.
That's But anyway, look, I just think that it's a different feel. It's we don't want to get into a foot race with these guys and we're fatigued, so you're not going to win doing that anyway. But it's just, we're going to have to beat these guys more by playing better defensively in front of our goalie, in front of the blue line, at the neutral zone, and then counterattacking. Whereas with Vegas, it was you have to kind of weather the storm with them. They're going to bombard you. They're going to slam you. You have to outlast them.
They had more depth, I think.
Yeah.
Vegas had more depth.
Well, it's not going to matter though, like because what Jason Hillier brings up, no one's getting past Tampa.
Bobrovsky.
But no, I do want to say. So I think it was. Hang on. Bone Diggity again. At least we aren't the Highlanders losing both games at home, and then somebody else saying that they swept, or Stevenson, right? Stevenson saying the Islanders swept the Penguin and now can be swept by the Canes. Like, it's just crazy to see
the
that.
Canes coming, man.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
I thought they were a good team.
They're a good team, but they're not. I mean,
Raider Rich again. We are going to win the Stanley Cup. Go Sharks.
I believe it.
I believe it too, buddy.
I believe it coming through.
No, honestly, you're bringing up a good point. I'm not going to sit here and predict that we're going to win the Cup, but again, there is no team left that I look at, even when Tampa was in it, there's no team left that I'm looking at going, we're not as good a team as them.
Boston's the only one that scares me, that they can get under the Sharks' skin.
There are teams that scare me, right? There are teams that I feel are going to give us a heck of a fight if we end up going head-to-head with them. But there's no team left that I go, we can't beat them.
Yeah.
There's no team that I'm looking at
without
going,
beating ourselves.
Exactly.
We're not getting outplayed.
Exactly.
By them.
Yeah. So, yeah, who knows? But if we run into St. Louis and then run into Boston, I think it's going to be a heck of a hard time.
I watched the Boston game for the first time, and man, I don't want to play them. And it's not because I don't think we can beat them. I just don't like how they play at all.
They're
a brutal team. And I think I texted you guys. I was like, how has Marchand not taken a penalty? And then he finally took one at the end of the first period, a cross check to the back.
Yeah.
And the Columbus scored on it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, how is this? I was watching in the first 10 minutes. They had 3 helmets had been popped off. Marchand put some guy in a headlock to get a helmet off, and I'm like, that's a penalty. What are they doing? And he's just
letting them play.
I don't know if you guys saw this. Jordan Marley just talked about it. Where'd it go? He just said, if you ask Alexa who's going to win the Cup,
yes,
she'll say San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone said you had to be out of the San Jose area.
No, you don't. So if you ask her, you can be in anywhere in the world. It'll say that Tampa was favored, but they had a meltdown. That was the word she used, meltdown. And that now she's feeling they're going to have a fantastic finish. The San Jose Sharks will have a fantastic finish.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like that's basically her favorite.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you're in San Jose. Somebody from like Minnesota or whatever, they was on some Facebook thread and they were saying like, yeah, it doesn't matter where you're from. She says the same thing. So while that's great, it has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not we'll actually win.
As far as like what do you call it? Themes go, Sharks versus Hurricanes. Then you get some sort of like Sharknado going.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would love that.
Someone said, who is it? Jordan again, the Battle of the Corsi Cup, because the Hurricanes, I think they led the league, right, in Corsi,
and we were too.
Which is crazy because they almost didn't make playoffs.
Yeah.
Like it almost like throws it in the face of all the stats people,
folks,
right? Like that's worthless stat. But the Sharks and the Hurricanes were. I think the Sharks were 3.
Hey, real quick.
All season long it was 1-2, but they might have got surpassed. Yeah, go ahead.
So Deep Dudex is saying we might need to change up the stick because now there's a loss here. But Dylan brings up a good point. Paul should probably ask Meyer for his autograph. Go out and get Meyer's autograph. Maybe he'll have a couple of hot games in a row.
Yeah, maybe.
Get on that plane with him.
I need his stick though. That's the whole thing. It's his stick. So if Timo Meyer's willing to give me his stick and then sign it, yeah, I'm sure. But I don't know. We'll see.
And also, the 4 Paws Up for Hockey does mention that the engineers for Alexa are in the Bay Area. So Alexa wouldn't lie. Alexa. Oh yeah. So actually, real quick, because somebody asked this earlier, and I was going to ask it, and I'm sure something else distracted me because it's shiny objects. But so do the Sharks? Because you guys right now are talking about like exhaust, fatigue. Okay, but overall, what do the Sharks need to do to adjust? Was it simply they played a bad game, they need to stick to the same game plan they had in game 1? Or do they change up the lines a little bit? Or do they try and do something differently?
I think they look at what they did in the first period, and they do what they did in the first period. What I said, was it before the first game, before the game, before game 1, that you need to slow them down in the neutral zone. Don't let them get their speed coming into the offensive zone. limit their chances of odd man breaks coming back the other way, and you really shut down their top line of McKinnon and Rantanen and Landeskog, and that should be the key to beating them in a series. Maybe you don't win a game. Maybe it ends up being like today, where the Sharks probably should have won but just didn't. But more often than not, you play those odds, the Sharks are going to win those games.
So Reese adds to this. It was what prompted me to remember. Apparently, the Avalanche got 50 shots against Calgary in both games, in Colorado. So
it's going to be
stopping at the blue line, but also getting those in the shooting lanes.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in these next two games in Colorado with the altitude.
I think the altitude along with the fatigue. If they can't get over their fatigue, they're just still going to have to battle the altitude. If they have to battle the altitude and the fatigue, they're probably going to get lit up on the shot clock.
They also get last change, so maybe their matchups will be a little bit better in their favor.
Exactly.
But having said that, I just don't see them outmatching us, really. Like, there's not really a dominant way unless our fourth line gets stuck out there and they put their top line out. But that might be for one or two shifts at most in the two games. So I don't think it's that big of an advantage compared to the Sharks being able to match up Vlasic and Burns against their top line, right?
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is the fourth line's not going to get a zone start from a face-off as often, right? The fourth line is going to, the energy line is going to get, hop off the boards. And if they take an icing, that's where you're going to get that crazy mismatch, because then they're going to throw their top line out against a tired group that cannot change. So I don't think you're going to see many face-offs for the energy line.
I don't give Tkachuk. It's a great name.
Tkachuk?
I don't give it Tkachuk.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't give.
Right. Got it.
Bringing up Calgary, heartbroken. Sorry, you're a Calgary fan. Yeah, sorry. Your boys got beaten 5.
But Calgary was a good team, too.
Oh, they were.
Right.
I thought Calgary was going to beat Colorado in that series, and I thought we were going to be playing Colorado right now, which thankfully we are not. Sorry, Calgary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought Calgary was going to beat that series, and we were going to play them right now. And I'm thankful that we're not, because I think there would be more injuries for the Sharks. I think it would be even more sluggish and more extracurricular stuff after the whistle, where players are going to do some dumb things. So I'm glad that we're not playing Calgary.
I mean, imagine that real quick, right? For the Sharks, if they took out Vegas is a heavy team. There's a lot of emotion, lots of banging and everything. Then let's say you had to play Calgary, right?
And
Sam Bennett.
Then you survive, right?
If you survive that one, let's say you have to play St. Louis.
Oh, brutal, man.
Right? Okay. Then let's say
you get to the finals.
Let's say you make it through all that and you got to play Boston.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That would be one of the hardest, I think, routes.
Absolutely.
Game 3 is in Colorado. And that's the important thing.
Again, it would be the most well-deserved cup that they've ever won.
Absolutely. Now,
there'd be an asterisk.
We're playing Colorado, right? And there's nothing against Colorado. Not saying they're wimpy, but they're certainly not built for slamming. They're not built for hits. They're built for speed. They're built on skill. So they're not the team that's going to wear you down physically. And I think, like you said, that kind of bodes well for the Sharks, because that's their biggest problem right now is they're tired. If you were to play against a team that was constantly slamming you in the boards, it's only going to get worse. Playing against a team like Colorado, they're faster than you, but I don't think you're going to take that toll on your body as much, right? So hopefully they can overcome the fatigue factor, and they'll only have to battle the altitude.
Yeah.
If they can go in there and steal one game from Colorado, again, we're back to basically being even here.
It's a 3-game series at that point.
What's that?
3-game series
And
at
then
that
it's a
point with
3-game series.
Sharks having home ice advantage.
Here's a great question. Sorry, I'm going to jump ahead of you there. 3 Hart finalists have 0 wins combined in the playoffs this year. You know who they are?
So Kucherov, I'm guessing.
Kucherov.
And then was it McDavid?
McDavid.
And then Hall?
Crosby.
No, Crosby, okay.
Yeah. No, Hall missed half the year, so he was finals last year.
Okay, yeah, my bad.
So the question from Jordan, what are your guys' thoughts on the 3 Hart finalists? Neither one won a playoff game this year. Should they keep it as a regular season award or only include playoff success? I don't think you need to include playoff success in this, because to me it's a regular season award. The playoff award is the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Yeah.
That's the MVP of the playoffs. I think you keep it separate. I do think, and this goes back to our episode interviewing Doug Wilson, and Paul asked this question about the Norris Trophy as the best defenseman. Should you split it so that you have a Bobby Orr trophy and a Norris trophy? So the Norris would be a defensive defenseman and the Bobby Orr would be an offensive defenseman, which I think is fantastic. Adding to that, I think they should add a Wayne Gretzky Award for the most assists because they have the most goals and they have the most points award. Why not have the most assists?
So, sorry about that. The whole MVP thing, right? I feel like it's nice to be able to recognize players that are really good at assists, like Joe Thornton, for instance. He might win, the Hart one year for most points.
Right.
He may have a ton of assists and have more assists than anybody, but he maybe won't have the most points. And it'd be great to recognize a player of his caliber that's basically setting everyone up, right?
And then imagine a player like if it was Kucherov, not that you did. But
Yeah.
a guy who has the most goals and the most assists and the most points. I mean, 3 trophies. It's deserved, and it would be very rare that somebody would do that.
The triple crown, they could call it, right?
Exactly, right?
So yeah, there's that, and then again for defensemen, I think a lot of people are fed up with offensive defensemen getting that trophy because
they would take away that debate.
There's no consideration for guys that are just defensive stalwarts.
We could see Vlasic and Burns get
there. You go,
best defenseman awards, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm all for it. I would love to see an award that is recognizing of a defenseman's ability to be a great defenseman behind the blue line, right? As well as recognizing the skill of Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson, if you want to say like a Drew Doughty type or whatever, or a PK Subban, guys that put the points on the board, but they do it from the blue line. And especially Brent Burns, he's leading the team. Right, and he's leading all defensemen in the league.
Giordano and Victor Hedman were the other two.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are out there that play, big minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could say the same thing about the MVP award. What about the Norris Trophy when Hedman and Giordano are both out? Right? Does that mean Burns should win it? I don't think so. I don't think you base it on the playoff success. Yeah. I think that's purely an 82-game season. See how you do and where you end up, regardless of the playoffs. Now, however, MVP for me. I think you need to make the playoffs to be an MVP. Because to me, if your team isn't making playoffs, you can't win the MVP of the league. I know this is going to upset Connor McDavid fans in Edmonton, right? Because this happened last year. I don't think you can say that he's the MVP of the league when his team doesn't make playoffs because to me the MVP is if that guy wasn't on your team, where would your team be? Well, Edmonton was still at the bottom last year. Why would he deserve winning the MVP? If his team was still at the bottom?
So is it not the MVP of the league? It's the MVP for his team, though, right?
No, I'm talking about the MVP trophy for the league, right? The Hart Trophy.
Oh wait, no.
No,
Hart is most points. My bad. What am I thinking of?
No, Hart's not the most points. Hart's MVP.
I'm running myself in circles right now.
Anyway, my point is people were upset because McDavid should have been the MVP last year because he had the most points, right? That's usually who it goes to. They kind of like, oh, okay, he's the MVP. But because Edmonton didn't make the playoffs, they said no. And I go, yeah, if McDavid wasn't an MVP, if he wasn't on the team last year, where would Edmonton be? Lower than they were, but they were still low. Right. How do you go lower than low?
It's not like as if they were 8th seed because of his play.
Yeah. If they
take him off, they're in 15.
And even if he dragged them close to playoffs and they came down to the last game or two, then yeah, MVP status for sure. But when they're in the lottery and they have a good chance in the lottery, no, that's not an MVP to me.
Okay,
that's a rant there.
No, that's good.
A couple of things. Yeah, sorry for all the technical difficulties we were having tonight. And 4 paws up for hockey. I accept the apologies from the NHL tomorrow for this interruption. And Jason Hiller says that Drew Doughty is chewing on our cords.
Nice. There's a big gap in the chew marks in the cords, though, right?
Right.
Somebody asked, so what advantages do the Sharks have over the Avs, and what do they do to win this series? And don't just say play like they get played in Game 1.
No, I think their depth is better than the Avalanche, and I think when they get those 4 lines rolling, the Avalanche don't have an answer to at least the 3rd and 4th lines. So I think you keep getting those 4 lines rolling, you get goals early and keep getting goals. They got the first goal tonight, and they let them back in the game. I think like what we saw today, the first period, right? They got the first goal. They were almost scoring chances and just couldn't bury them. You need to bury those chances. You cannot miss too many of those opportunities. You need to bury them and put them behind early. That opens up the game because now they're going to try and press and get goals, which you can counterattack, which the Sharks, I believe, are good at with their speed. They have speed throughout the lineup. So I think you get up early, you're making Colorado not play their game anymore, and that's going to open up the game more. So getting goals early and keep playing your game with your depth.
I think it's twofold for me. One is, again, the depth, right? Like he just talked about. The second thing is our top end skill on the blue line is just, for me, miles better. I mean, you've got a couple guys that are rookies that you like on there as well, but for Colorado at least. For me, it's Tyson Barrie is their main guy, and I think Tyson Barrie is a great player. When you put him up against guys like Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns, though, and Marc-Eduard Vlasic, I'm having a real hard time with that one tonight. When you put him up against those 3 guys on our blue line, he's not quite at that level, and I feel like he's one of their better defensemen. Now, I'm not from Colorado. I don't cheer for Colorado, so maybe the 2 rookies are even better than Tyson Barrie is, but from what I know, I think Tyson's kind of like the guy on their blue line. Having said that, again, I think we've got 3 guys on our blue line that are better than what I'm considering as their best defensemen. So I feel like we have not just the depth throughout the lineup, but the high-end skill on the blue line, at least offensively and even defensively, because, Erik Karlsson's no slouch, and Marc-Eduard Vlasic, I got that right that time, is phenomenal defensively. So, I don't know. I just think those are our main advantages, over them right now is again the depth that we have up and down the lineup, and then our blue line is just looks and feels so much stronger, at least offensively and both defensively, than what I've seen out of Colorado.
So, question from Nick Salzer.
Hey, Nick.
Just tuned in. Where have you been, dude? Do you think the pace of Colorado was a huge factor in the win? I feel like the Sharks intercepted so many passes and kept it in the offensive zone, but Denver counter was just too quick. Again, that's kind of what I was saying was the Sharks didn't capitalize on their chances. I thought they had very good zone pressure and presence and dominating kind of the possession in the offensive zone. I think they should have done a better job. I think Grubauer is a good goalie. I think he's kind of being the difference maker, at least tonight. And the Sharks need to get more people in front of the net, like you said earlier, and getting more shots on goal. Yeah,
get him moving, get in his eyes. For sure on Grubauer there. I mean, any goaltender, get him moving, get in their eyes, right? But yeah, I think, again, for me, what it comes down to, Nick, is the fatigue factor. The Sharks showed that they had some legs in the first period, and then after that, they kind of showed that they were tired, and it just kind of fell apart from there. So I think the effort was there, but their bodies just weren't allowing them to do what their heads wanted them to do, at least not at the speed that they wanted to accomplish it at.
Yeah, I like Jason's comment here, Jason Hillier.
Okay.
I think the Sharks need at least 1 more goal after the first. Playing so well and then having the Avs tie it felt like a big loss of morale. I agree. I think if the Sharks got that second goal, it would have gone the other way. I think in terms of morale, I think Colorado's morale would have gone down, and maybe they kind of, not give up, but looking more towards, okay, let's just go home and get our 2 wins.
Yeah, you'll never hear me disagree with getting another goal.
Right.
You'll never. So yeah, no.
I really wish I hadn't gotten that extra.
Yeah, I mean, if we're up 5-0 and there's 10 seconds left, okay, we don't need another goal. It's fine.
But I think that was a key in this game, in this moment, was to get that second goal.
Yeah, for sure.
And go up 2-0 rather than get the game tied up and then coming back. So, yes, I agree.
I mean, and like I said, especially with the whole fatigue factor, right? Anything that you can do to give your guys some artificial energy, right?
Yeah, let's say you get a 3-goal lead or a 4-goal lead, then you can start playing those other 4th-line guys a little bit more, and you get those top guys more of a break. So all around, it's better to dominate and
Sure.
when you dominate, score and dominate the scoreboard as well.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for your question. Anything else? We all good?
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up here.
I would like you guys to all subscribe to this channel so that we can get more of these interactions, because this, for me, is the fun part of doing this show. It's not sitting next to him. It's talking with you guys. So go ahead and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So
also hit the like button so that more people will see it too, because that'll help YouTube get it out to more Sharks fans.
that would be very helpful. So as much as you guys are enjoying it, and we hope that you are, we'd like other fans to also enjoy the content as well. So the more you like it, the more that it goes out to those folks as well. And don't be afraid to share this with your buddies as well. If you just want to go ahead and hey, we saw this show, we think it's really fun.
Oh, hang on.
What?
At Bowd, did you do a roll call?
Oh, I did not do a roll call. Sorry,
Okay,
we
my
should
bad.
do this.
Then you can wrap it up.
All right, we'll wrap up and let's give 5 minutes here for a roll call. Tell us where you're watching from and how you found us, because we like seeing that. Oh, we got some more subs right there. So
Sweet. So while you guys are doing that, again, make sure that you're subscribed so that you know when we're doing these lives. You hit the notification bell, and it'll send out the notification you letting you know that we are going live or that we have a video that's coming out. And the nice thing about subscribing to us is that we're not putting out stuff during the regular season. We're not putting out just video after video after video. We do like a 1 week view, and so we're not going to fill up your inbox with a bunch of useless stuff. We give you like kind of a macro view over the week of the game or the games that were played. This is obviously different because for playoffs we kind of need to do.
we can't do a weekly show.
Right,
during the
so
playoffs.
I
We'd
can't
have
be
two
like,
shows for round one. Can you imagine?
Right. Hey, so for like the Vegas series. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, we had games 5, 6, and 7 this week, and it's like or games 5 and 6, and then we'll get back to you next week after tomorrow's game for game 7. That wouldn't work. So yeah, that's why we're doing it after every single game for the playoffs. Normally during the regular season, it's just a 1 week thing, so you don't get bombarded with a whole bunch of useless stuff. So yeah, if you can find it within yourselves to hit that sub button, we would love it. Thank you very much.
All right, Rolling Duck Leg Feature. It's a fantastic name.
Rolling Duck Leg Feature.
From Vancouver, British Columbia, and found you on YouTube on recommended videos.
That's the username.
Said
Got it.
YouTube, but I think you meant YouTube. Raider, Rich and Christ from Paris, California. I think there were some other people from Paris, California. That was not you. Evansville, Indiana. San Ramon, about an hour north of San Jose. Don't remember how I found you. That's okay, Jason. You've been around a long time. It's Jason Hillier. Andrew Starkweather, Connecticut. I thought you were suggested to me. I think you were suggested to me after an official Sharks video. Awesome.
Wow. Cool.
Sarah's in Sacramento. Found you during a regular season on my homepage. Raider from Paris, Riverside County. Sharks Insider, Tracy, California. Found you guys while looking for a Sharks podcast on Spotify. Awesome.
Wow.
I know we're on Spotify. I didn't know how many people are listening, so that's great. Joe is one too many. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, I'm out of here.
That's someone's name. St. Helena, California. It's a great place. I don't give Kachuk. I'm from DE. It's Delaware, right? And I was looking up clips of Chichu and made a video about him and saw your videos about a game recap. Saw how professional you were, and I subbed. Oh, well, thank you. That's awesome.
Oh, that's you think we're professional?
And you're a Chichu fan. That's fantastic. Hoot, toot. We need a choo-choo
So
train.
real
Choo-choo
quick,
train whistle.
yeah, real quick, the whole professional part of it. So everything that you see and all that, the production value, all that,
All of the
that is
graphics and everything.
super producer Jason.
Yes.
His magic. So he's actually worked in Hollywood and whatnot, and he's very good with all the lighting and the camera work and all that stuff, except for streaming. But the interactions here really.
It's a good thing he's not mic'd up, because you'd be hearing him cussing up a storm over there in the corner.
Friendly at that point.
Right.
Yeah. No, but so I mean, this is Aaron and I. For those of you who don't know, Aaron and I have been friends since kindergarten.
And Joe.
And Joe too. So Joe decided he was going to come and help us out one day, which has been awesome helping us. We really do appreciate you being here. Super key grip, Joe. But really, the whole premise of the show is to have three friends talking. That's why we're not analysts. We never claim to be. We don't wear, our ties. Yeah, we have nice little polos or whatever. But
People want to buy these too.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad. But anyway, so yeah, this is basically just like two buddies that are talking. Obviously, three buddies that are talking, and Aaron's brother as well. and then you guys, and that's kind of the whole idea behind the show is, you know, when you sit down with your friends and talk Sharks hockey, that's what this is, right? So and we just hope that you guys feel welcome to come in and chat. Even folks that are from Colorado or Vegas, maybe not the Vegas folks anymore, but like any folks from Colorado or whatever else, come on in. Like, we're just here to chat with you guys and have fun. So
4 Paws for Hockey is where you were, Aaron, by the way. Just
Yeah, 4 Paws for Hockey, West San Jose. They found us on Twitter. Keep up the great work. Stevenson Yee, San Francisco. Fin Factor makes my body tingle.
That's the second time we've heard that one
from him.
And you need to keep bringing that comment.
Out loud from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and you guys were recommended on YouTube, and I've been watching since episode 1.
Wow,
that's
what's
great. ATBOUD.
Okay.
At Bowd. I don't know.
That was the person who called for the roll call, actually.
Oh.
Right.
Max Musterman from Germany. It's 6 a.m., by the way. Found you guys through YouTube suggestions. That's fantastic. Hold on, I'll get there in a second. About Psycho Penguin 29. About 10 minutes from San Jose State, doing homework. Found you doing homework in quotes. Found you guys from recommended videos around January. Watching but lurking. Fresno. We got Stockton, California, from a Sharks Facebook group page. Post more on there.
A lot more people in California I'm hearing this time around, as opposed to like Sweden.
I think because it was an earlier start. They're all asleep. Post more on Facebook is what the comment was.
Post more on Facebook.
From the Facebook group.
Okay.
The Sharks Facebook group.
Okay.
So we'll try and do that. Phil Martins, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Found us on YouTube. Sarah, cheers for Jason. And Jason said their attitude.
Is that your sister?
No, okay. Sarah V. No H. My sister has an H. And Raider, Rich and Christ, another $2. Thank you. Sharks players taller than Avalanche players, right? Bigger. Taller, but bigger. Yes, they're way more physical and just more brute.
They eat more meat. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer DeMartini, San Jose, found you in kindergarten. She went to kindergarten with me, Paul, and Joe, and it's actually Joe's.
So, I mean, this is honestly, it's hilarious because, again, Joe, Aaron, myself, Joe's wife, all kindergarten. We all went to kindergarten together.
And all 4 of us had a sibling that was my brother's age going kindergarten.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was a tight school.
So we're all tight families and knew each other and
just
all the same age.
Couldn't move out of the area, and here we are. So
we got lucky to not move out of the area.
For better or worse.
Ryman is in Aaron's basement.
Joke's on you, pal. He doesn't have a basement.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but all right.
There's no basement in the Alamo.
Yeah.
What?
There's no basement in the Alamo.
I don't know.
Pee Wee Herman?
It's okay.
Come on.
Moving on.
That's the second Pee Wee comment tonight, too.
Yeah, the second Pee Wee comment. All right. Found the show on a related video while watching Hockey Guy. You guys watch Hockey Guy, don't you?
I've watched him a couple times.
Who's Hockey Guy?
He does a lot. He does a series preview.
Yeah.
He does a lot.
If I'm being honest with you guys, I really don't watch much other content, like be it or listen to, like be it podcasts or YouTube shows or whatever else the case may be. I really don't listen or watch to anybody else. Not because I don't think that they're worth it. I never really had. Doing this was just kind of fun. I just decided we were going to do it, but I don't really reach out to other outlets or other podcasts or other groups or other YouTubers or whatever else. We just kind of do this show, and it's just been fun. Yeah.
I'm guessing you both went to Bellarmine.
Yeah.
LOL. Yes, Jordan. All 4 of us went to Bellarmine. Hashtag go Bells.
Hashtag go Bells.
I found the show looking for more news. That was Raider Rich.
Cool.
And I need to educate him on AA wrong because he spelled my name ARR.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Aaron Balaki.
Hockey Guy talks about every game.
Yeah,
he makes a living doing that stuff. We do not make a living doing this stuff. This is purely for fun. And he's got a lot of subscribers too, I think.
He does. No, because he
tens
does
of thousands, I think, right?
But he talks about every game, like every Sharks game, or every
game. Well, in the playoffs, I'm sure it's every game.
Wow. It's been every series I've seen for sure. I mean, like, again, I don't tune into it much. I tune into you guys, and then I watch a lot of other stuff besides that.
Rolling Duckleg feature. The Hockey Guy lives about 10 minutes away from me in Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Oh, cool.
It's good to know.
Aaron, by the way, your knowledge of acronyms or initialisms is amazing.
Why?
And the Nova Scotia one, I wouldn't have gotten that. I was like,
really?
So, hey, good
thanks
on you.
to hockey, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, hockey helped me with geography because I like geography, and I was curious of where these cities are in location to one another, right?
Yeah.
Like Edmonton and Calgary are like, here's Calgary. Edmonton is way up north
really?
from there, and then Winnipeg is like a little bit further that way. I mean, I'm looking this way on the map. Like, yeah.
He's
What was
he's a good learner, not a
city
good
that
teacher.
someone was
What?
upset that you didn't know where the city was last
Oh
stream?
no, it was.
Oh,
it
that was
wasn't-
some little town in, I don't know.
But he's like, no, I
oh,
should
it's
have known.
Manhattan,
Yeah.
Indiana?
Yeah.
Or something?
Something
Sorry,
like that.
I didn't. I know one Manhattan. I don't know about the Little Apple, just the Big Apple.
So why don't you know the Swedish versus Swiss?
I knew North America geography. All
All
right.
right, gotcha.
All right. I think that's it.
So,
Yeah. I
so
think
finish
we're
up, talk about real quick. Are you still doing the playoff? 10%?
Playoff mode.
Yes. Yeah. 10% off
ahead.
anything in the store by using the code playoff mode, no space. It's on the. If you go to www.thefinfactor.com,
I'm gonna post the link right now.
He's going to post the link. If you don't click the link, if you're listening on a podcast, there's 3 little lines in the upper corner. You tap that. It says support the show. Tap that, and you get the store essentially. So we have shirts, teal, gray, black, and then a black deep V cut, along with stickers and hats. I said all of them without messing any
That
of
was
it up.
awesome. That's taken a lot of practice.
And if you guys are interested in the stuff that's behind them, the playoff stuff,
Yeah.
there's really, I think basically that playoff mode one that Aaron just pointed to a second ago is available online, but pretty much all the player ones you need to go to the actual store, Sharks Hockey at the arena, I
we
believe.
got
Yeah.
Carlson, Burns, Couture,
Pavelski,
Pavelski, and I think there's one more that we don't have up.
No, I think
Maybe.
we did, but we took the kids one. They have a
Oh,
kids shirt as
Evander.
well.
Don't we have an Evander Kane one?
Oh, we have
Or
a
is
Kane
it
puck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a shirt.
They have pucks here. I don't know if you guys can see these, but they have Eric Carlson, Brent Burns, Vander Kane. They basically kind of look like these, like the shirts, really. So. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff in the Shark store. If you guys like any of the stuff that's up here, they have it in the Shark store. So go ahead and go check it out. Or if you have a relative and they can send it to Nova Scotia, I guess do that too. So,
Manhattan, Kansas. That's where it was, not Indiana.
see, you didn't know that?
Ah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know where anything is. I live in San Jose, and I know it's in California, and that's about it. So
That's where I'm standing.
that's where I am. Yeah. Anything else? We good?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Love
you.
the comments. Love the questions. This makes the whole show worth it for me doing this live stuff with you guys. So for Super Producer Jason, Super Key Grip Joe, I am Paul.
And I'm
And
Aaron.
we will see you guys
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Bye-bye.
Bye.